G'day everyone. So today we're gonna fly the Togs Hangar 500C, and we're gonna fly the route that I walked in May with Pete, scanning the huts in the Kaimanawas. So at the moment we're standing inside the photogrammetry version of the Venison Tops Hut. We've got a bunk room at each end, and the main sort of cooking area, fireplaces in the centre. So we won't spend too long at each hut because you guys can come and explore them yourselves now. So we'll head up to the helicopter up on the pad. This is about as fast as the sky will run. Right, we'll get in. And we will pull down my little EFB tablet. And pop up little nav map because I'll put the walk now. We centre on us. Got our route there. And we are here, and we're going to end up going to Mangaturu Hut, Tipoki, Harkness, Tasaka Hut, Boyd, down to the Omaru, and then back to Harkness base. So, and we'll land and have a quick look at each hut on the way that we scanned. So we'll get flying. Spooling up. And unlock the pedal. Don't want to take off with that locked. We'll have no anti-torque. Right, I can shut down the top menu. Everything looks good, got plenty of fuel. Come back around and fly over the hut because we'll try and follow where we walked when we did this big walk in May. About 60 k's in total length. There's the hut down underneath us there, and the track goes off down this ridge here. I'll try and pop photos in along the way to sort of fill in so you can sort of compare the sim to the reality. A few up and downs along this little ridge. So we walked this one the first afternoon that we landed. Haliseka flew us in and we landed at Venison Tops. And we walked back across here to Mangaturu Hut. There's a fork in the track here that goes off out to Tipoki, and then the track goes about 500 or 600 metres down the ridge here to Mangaturu Hut. So we'll start our approach. This will probably do us just here, I'd say. And we'll have a quick look at the hut while we're here. So Just turn the generator off. That's interesting that the map stays with me. I haven't seen that before when I've hopped out. That's alright. So we'll run up through here to the Mangaturu, the old forest, NZ Forest Service hut. Really simple, big open fire, couple of bunks, somewhere nice and warm, at least in the night in the mountains. And you can probably notice the helipad is photogrammetry as well, just so it's a bit more accurate where you come in and land. Alright, we'll hop back in. So my cable's all tangled up here. Alright, let's get spooling back up. Right, next stop, Tipoki. We won't actually probably go into Tipoki Hut because it's a bit of a walk from the helipad on that one. So we'll try and keep following them where the track goes. We'll just come back up onto the ridge here. You can probably just about see it there on the aerial photo. Using an Harkness overlay on this one today with map enhancements off Flight Sim TO. Some pretty good views from off on these plateaus in here. The track comes out and around this ridge line here. You can probably just make it out down below us there. Yep, you can see it straight below us here coming down this ridge before it goes back into the beech forest over down the far end of the ridge here. It probably disappears in about there, and then it'll follow along, sort of goes along mainly on the ridge tops along across this piece. Winds its way around. Little rocky outcrop there I actually stood on top of. It's pretty impressive. There's some of the sheer rock faces in this area. Another good lookout point up on here. There you can see the track coming up the side of that little ridge there. And then it drops back down this other side. Carries up onto the Tipoki tops in front of us here. Just see it break the bush line there and follow up onto the tops. It comes up along here and then ducks down across that gully and then up onto the helipad. So we'll just come around here and land on the helipad. So this one we won't bother because the track, you walk out to the left there and down to the hut just down below us there, so I'll lift off out of here. You just see it down there. We'll go down and have a quick look at it from the air. similar to the Mangaturu one on NZ, an old NZ Forest Service hut, but it's been modified and brightened up a bit with a coat of paint and a few modifications like a veranda on it and things like that. Right, we'll come back up the hill here, follow the track around. Fairly washed out up here because it's sort of pumice country, being in the vicinity of Taupo. And then the track goes off to the left here. There's a trig up on the hill, and then we head all the way down to Harkness Hut, which is down in the valley ahead of us there. So the track basically just follows the ridge down to the river. We'll pick up some speed here. So we walked from Mangaturu Hut to Harkness Hut on day 2. Somewhere underneath us, the track is in this sort of beech forest here, coming down. Just trying to lose height here without it over RPMing the machine. And then we come back around, drops off the end there and down into the river, and then there's several river crossings before you make it into up the little bank into Harkness Hut. Bit of a cold hut, that one, for winter time, because it's right in the shadow of the hill for most of the day, and he probably gets a couple of hours maximum, I'd say, of sunlight a day. This was the one where we stayed one night here, and then we walked from here through to the Boyd, but it was -10 frost when we left here, and it was a pretty hard walk for the first hour or two, with it being -10 with 40 river crossings. I might quickly walk into this one, so we'll just okay, battery off. Not battery off, the alternator, and where's the RPM? There we go. And lock my pedals, which I didn't do at the other one. We'll run up to the hut. They're quite nice when they've been painted white inside, so they're not too dark and dingy. That brightens them up a bit. So that's Harkness Hut. Next stop, Tasaka Hut. Okay. Unlock my pedals, shut my door. Start spooling up. Governor's got it. Over revved it a little bit there. And we'll follow down where we walked in the -10 frost. So the Harkness stream here comes on down here and joins into the other one coming from at Tasaka. It's about here somewhere. It turns the corner and goes up through this gorgy bit up into the Tasaka Valley. Basically the track just goes from one side of the other to the other as it basically probably whoever made it in the past picks the best route through it. And there we go, there's the track pops up onto the tussock flats here and just sort of meanders its way around and along these flats here, which is not as flat as it looks, it's up and down. Goes off that little point there, you can probably just see it going up that little ridge in front of us. It follows around the side. Somewhere here it comes across and then it comes up this other bank just here. Probably just see it there somewhere. A bit of shadowing on the aerial photo there. It meanders around that corner. And we're just coming up into tussock now. Right, it's Tasaka helipad. So we won't bother going into that one because that one's pretty similar to the other one. It's got a bigger veranda on it, sort of thing. There's a lot of dust here for some reason, it makes it quite hard to see. We'll just come around the front of the hut so you can see it. Similar size to the, maybe a little bit bigger than Tipoki, possibly, in Harkness. It's a little bit, it's been lengthened I think a little bit. Right, and then we head up here, the track heads up into the bush here. Comes up around on this ridge here. Gets up quite high again here before we drop way back down into the next valley. And it comes down this ridge and down into the Boyd Valley. So we'll where the Nararua River is, so we'll come down this ridge in here and follow the track once we pick it up at the other side of the where we come out of the sort of, I guess it's a bit of tea tree and small mountain beach up here. Not to let the RPM run away on me coming down here. It should break out somewhere down below us here somewhere now. Here we go. It's running down out to my right there. Drops down here and then we hit the main river flat. Just follows along on that eastern side of the river there for a little bit before we did a crossing on the Nararua here to get onto the other side. Crossed it about here, I think, those big cliffs. And then the track comes along here, pops up onto the little flat here, comes up through this little washout, up onto the top. And we just follow across the sort of flattish area here. You can see the Boyd airstrip there on that other little terrace. going straight across here, and then it turns a corner and goes just up into the Boyd Hut lodge, just up in the trees there. So we'll come up there now and we'll walk into that one. It's a little bit bigger, that hut. It's almost like a Lockwood, I think, that one. Bit hard to see here in the shadow at the moment. I'll just poke it forward here on this little flat. Right, there's my controller. Lock the pedal. Actually, we probably don't even need that at this stage, so I'll turn that off. It doesn't want to. That's alright, it can stay there. Got some people hanging out here. Alright, we'll come down past the front of it. Come up onto the porch. So it's another fairly basic, well, it's got the nice tongue and groove timber in it like a Lockwood, so it's quite a cool hut. It's what is there, 8 bunks in that end, and I think there's about the same in the other end, I think. Yeah, so it looks like about a 16 bunk hut, and then you've got your main cooking area, eating area in the centre, and the view just looks out down towards the airstrip down the bottom there. Right, we'll get back to the chopper. Right, let's go. Lock those, shut the door. Yep, spooled up a little bit fast there. Right, and this is going to be a bit trickier to get out of. Plenty of clearance on that tree now. And now we'll come back down the ridge, follow the track. And it turns a left here, where it sort of forks. It comes back along that side there. We'll come back around. And see it following along the edge here. Somewhere here, just up a little bit further, you can see it cuts down one of the little washouts and crosses the Narurora again onto the eastern side again, or northeastern side. Then it aims for the saddle, so going up through that little gap there. Zigzagging its way up this little ridge here. This was our biggest day when we left the Boyd in the dark. It was around 6, I think, and then walked all the way back to the Haliseka car park in one day. It was about 26 odd K or something. Yeah, so it comes through the saddle, and then it's just sort of a steady downhill incline the whole way back to Omaru, basically. So you're on the flats again down by the river. Right, we'll get some speed up coming down through here. Basically, it does squat sides in the river here a couple of times, I think, coming down before there's a junction down here of the streams, and then it crosses onto the western side of the Omaru stream and then just follows that all the way to the hut, which must be this one here. just you can see it weaving around there, but it's up and down little bits, but it's relatively flat compared to the rest of the walk through here. There's not there's little pinches in it, but they're just sort of going through where little side valleys and streams and things come out. Probably a little bit high up the side length for where the track would be. It kind of follows more right on the edge of the river a lot of this way, down this part. And we're coming up on, I think it must be just about up to Jap Creek, I think. It's possibly Jap Creek there. It's either that or the next one. I think it's that one back there. We're coming across all these flats. And Omaru should be just down the corner here, right on the edge of the Omaru stream or river. See the track in places along there on the flats. Start slowing up here for an approach. I won't bother going up to the Omaru. That's fairly similar to the Boyd. There's a scanned interior in that, both bunk rooms and that. I think that was one of the first huts I scanned, but I redid it on this walk because I hadn't got the inside of it last time. So we'll pick up out of here, and we'll head down basically where the track goes. Crosses across this little flat here. It's a good walk though, for a couple of days walk to fly into Venison Tops and walk out if anyone was interested in doing it, because it's tests you, but it's just great to see some of this country and you fly over it all the time. Right, the track comes up around here somewhere. Pops out up here, and then it's sort of it just follows their poled route through the station back to Halisika base. So I'll try and follow that so you sort of have an idea where it roughly goes. Comes up to here, I think, turns the corner. Follows this little track below us here really, till you get to this little junction, and then it goes across this grassy flat here. And somewhere about here, I think it's on this corner, yeah, there we go. It leaves the main track there and dives down through the eucalyptus trees here. Pops out on this little terrace over here and sort of follows this route then all the way back along the flats to where it joins back up with the main track up the front. So we'll follow that little terrace. You can actually see the track in places along here. Around this edge. There's a bit of a river there too. Still following the river up here. It's a really cool walk too, like a little bit boring compared to actually in the Kaimanawas, but it's still it's pretty cool being able to walk through there. And then it comes straight through here, cuts straight across this little corridor through the trees here, this paddock, and then it hits back onto the main track. Another track here, comes onto this one, cuts the corner a little bit there I think, and it must be inside the trees here, the track, so it's a little bit in the shade on the aerial photo. And up past here, past Paranui Lodge. And back to base. And there we go, we're on the ground. Just put the pedal lock in. And there's our route. We followed all the way basically where the track goes pretty closely. So that's what it looks like now. The huts are in the sim. Yeah, till the next one, we'll catch you then.